It all started with a simple panel discussion. What was meant to be a routine debate on live television quickly spiraled into a whirlwind of confessions, confrontations, and long-guarded truths that not only rattled the foundation of Donald Trump's carefully crafted image but left him fuming on every screen in America. Whoopi Goldberg, never one to hold back her opinions, took the lead with a fiery opening that set the tone for what would follow. Speaking directly to the camera, she said, "This is not about politics anymore. It's about character. And frankly, America deserves better." That line echoed through the studio, hitting nerves across the aisle. But it didn't stop there. Beside her sat Pete Hegseth, a conservative commentator not known for turning on Republican allies, yet this time.
And with all the issues Americans are going to be voting on, you know where they started the interview? Take a look.
It was the episode of you when you were on The View. And I think it was 2015 or 2006, like when you were running for president.
Right.
Okay, let's stop there. There's a lot of fake news coming up, so we're going to clear some of it up as it happens. He was actually, in that clip, is 2011, 4 years before he announced he was running. Okay? That's the first thing they got wrong. Next.
He wasn't defending Trump, he was exposing him. "There are conversations I've had behind closed doors," Pete began, "and for a long time, I kept them private. But after what's come to light recently, I can't stay silent." The audience went silent. Even seasoned anchors leaned forward. What followed was a shocking series of revelations. Pete spoke of Trump's obsession with loyalty, not to the Constitution, but to himself. He wasn't asking us to support conservative principles. He was demanding blind loyalty, no questions, no doubt. You cross him once, you're out. He painted a picture of a man who weaponized access, manipulated fear, and bulldozed boundaries within his own party. Whoopi followed up with accusations of her own, citing sources and
You got introduced as our friend Donald Trump.
That's right.
Whoopi Goldberg gives you a big hug and a kiss. Joy Behar gives you a big hug. Barbara Walters gives you a big hug. They all loved you.
Here's the actual appearance. Watch.
Donald Trump is a billionaire, a real estate mogul, and a television star. But does he really want to add President of the United States to his resume? A lot of people would like him to. Please, let's find out, and please welcome my friend, Donald Trump. We're so happy to have you. Whenever you're on with us, we're very happy.
We love it.
inside Trump's former administration who felt bullied, silenced, and in some cases, threatened. She referenced internal memos from former aides who documented the chaos inside the West Wing. The studio played footage of previous staffers on record, not just disillusioned, but fearful. What we saw, Whoopi added, was a man not governing, controlling. As the broadcast continued, they moved into Trump's personal life and area, long protected by legal threats and PR shields. And it was there the tone shifted from critical to damning. According to Pete, several insiders claimed Trump kept a network of personal surveillance.
So, Barbara was her usual polite self, as she was with every guest. But did I look warm and fuzzy? Was that a warm and fuzzy welcome from her? But because I respect Barbara, you know, she said be polite to guests no matter what.
Yes.
And for the most part, I got through. I did it like I do now. But here's where they really messed up. Watch.
They're talking about you in such a favorable light.
Honey, Joe, I think you missed this part.
Even after leaving office, aimed at maintaining influence over past allies and enemies. It wasn't about security, Pete claimed. It was about leverage. They brought in a previously unaired clip of a whistleblower who worked briefly in the Trump security detail. With voice distorted and identity masked, the individual confirmed he had people watched. Not for threats, just for dirt. That's how he operated. Whoopi's voice trembled as she read off notes from Melania Trump's former staffer. He didn't want a wife. He wanted an ornament. And when she tried to push back,
there's something on that birth certificate that he doesn't like.
Oh my God, that is just
Whoopi, I'm telling
He
you.
was 3 pounds.
Whoopi, I love you. I'm telling
I love
you.
you too. I think that's the biggest pile of dog mess I've heard in ages.
The question is,
Why not show it, right?
there's something on his birth certificate he doesn't want to show.
It's not because he's black.
Let
It's
him
time you were
show.
born,
Has
what
nothing
color
to do
you
with it.
are.
By the way,
Because I've
has
never heard
nothing
any
to do
white
with it.
president ask to be shown the birth certificate. When you become a president of the United States of America, you know that he's
Let him
American.
show
I'm
his
sorry,
birth
that's
certificate.
BS.
Every president provides their birth certificate. No, they don't, but do you know what they do provide? They provide
Medical
their taxes
records.
and their medical records.
And he has
And that
done
is
it.
something that he lost track of.
she was silenced with a contract. A stunned hush fell over the room as Whoopi added Melania didn't collapse because of pressure. She collapsed under the weight of secrets. Then came the financials. BHE held up a document with redacted names, detailing foreign investments linked to Trump's private holdings. It's no longer just a question of shady deals, he said. It's a question of national interest. These weren't just bad business calls. These were vulnerabilities, and everyone in intelligence knows it. The broadcast team scrambled to verify. The documents were submitted for analysis in real time.
And here you're going to make all kind of fun. People said no more. We're tired of that. That's why people are saying, right, that you heard the women say, listen, what we heard at that rally should be enough to shake folks awake, because he's talking about you.
All of you. All of
He's
you.
talking about you. It's us. He's not going to, say, oh, you're with a white guy, I'm going to keep you from being deported. No, he's going to deport you and put the white guy with someone else. The man is out there.
Legal analysts jumped in via satellite to review the implications. If what's being alleged is true, one former federal prosecutor stated, it's not just ethically wrong, it's potentially criminal. What made this moment even more electric was the fact that it aired live without edits, without scripts, without any protective buffers for Trump or his allies.
I've not been a fan of this man's. I don't like how he talks to us. I don't like how he talks to the nation. So I have not really had much to say until he started running for president. Then I could say everything I needed to say. My face said everything.
That was a good.
Word, every name, every document flashed on screen, unfiltered. The phones in the studio reportedly lit up with calls from both supporters and critics. But most of them weren't denying the allegations. They were asking for more. As the panel moved into the final segment, they played a collection of Trump's own past interviews. Edited against current testimony, the contradictions were impossible to ignore. From denying ties to certain donors to previously dismissed claims.
He's a New York person and been a New York character. But that being a character on television is a lot different than being the president of the United States, because what you can't do, and what they did for years, which is why people got up and said, you can't talk to me like this anymore. You can't talk about me like this anymore. And people said, oh, you're woke.
Claims of hush money and personal intimidation, it all began to line up. Whoopi closed with a powerful, final statement. This isn't about hating Trump. It's about loving this country enough to speak the truth, no matter who it hurts. The segment went viral almost instantly. Within minutes, #Trump.
But he keeps lying about me, and I do want to correct this. He keeps referring to, I wrote him secret love letters of some sort. I don't write love letters to dictators or aspiring dictators like Donald Trump did to Kim Jong-un. The only letter I ever wrote him was a public resignation letter that was directed toward the Trump administration, speaking about my time. Otherwise, CNN fact-checked, he lied about my title and any other things. He's clearly very focused on this show because we keep calling him out, and we're going to keep doing it.
Exposed, #Whoopi vs Trump, and #PeteHEG Seth leaks began trending across platforms. Trump, who was reportedly watching from his Florida estate, took to his own network to launch a furious counterattack. Fake news, lies, betrayal, he posted, calling Pete a traitor and Whoopi a left-wing puppet. But the damage was done. The revelations couldn't be unheard. The transcripts were archived. The documents were being investigated. Political analysts speculate.
He's just this crybaby with this complex of victimhood, right? Here he is, this billionaire, supposedly, there's this, there's that. All he does is bitch and moan and complain and whine and nag.
That's
Dude,
he's a very small man. He's a very small
Well,
man.
Fortunately, I don't know how small he is, but I know he's not big enough to be president.
He's clearly very focused on this show because we keep calling him out, and we're going to keep doing it.
He said in that clip, every president provides their birth certificate. No, they don't, but do you know what they do provide? They provide their
Medical
taxes
records.
and their medical records.
And
And that is something that he lost track of.
Speculated that this might be the first real unraveling of Trump's political comeback. Overnight, conservative talk shows scrambled to do damage control, but even longtime Trump supporters were uneasy. On one call-in segment, a voter said, "I stood by him in 2016. I overlooked a lot, but after tonight, I feel betrayed." As dawn approached, media outlets worldwide picked up the segment. European correspondents called it the most significant live American broadcast of the year. Lawmakers on both
The lying, his lying is monumental, as we all know. And even people who are Trump supporters, watch this. Just watch this. This is good.
I have a hard time doing it to them because I'm basically a truthful person. But and frankly,
Basically, and I am a natural redhead who's 29 years old. Okay? I mean, the jokes just come so easily.
You listen to him.
sides were forced to respond. Pete Hegseth released a statement defending his decision to speak out, saying, "I loved what we stood for, but I can't defend what we've become." Whoopi, meanwhile, thanked the whistleblowers and made a direct plea to viewers. This isn't over.
He's stuck by his story that all of this is going according to plan. Take a look.
these countries are calling us up, kissing my ass. They are dying to make a deal. Please, sir, make a deal. I'll do anything, sir. And then I'll see some rebel Republican, some guy that wants to grandstand, say, "I think that Congress should take over negotiations." Let me tell you, you don't negotiate like I negotiate.
Well, I don't know if they're all kissing his ass to do this, but it seems like even his top advisors cannot figure out what is going on here. What is the plan?
We need your voice, your vote, your truth. In Washington, D.C., the ripples had already reached Capitol Hill. Sources claimed several members of Trump's inner circle had gone silent, while others began contacting legal counsel. The silence, in many ways, spoke louder than the show. And as for Trump, he raged on Truth Social, promised lawsuits, and called the network airing the segment enemies of democracy. But somewhere behind the bluster, even
This statement to the great women of our country: you will be protected and I will be your protector. Women will be happy, healthy, confident, and free. You will no longer be thinking about abortion. It's all they talk about, abortion.
Nauseating.
I just want to play one more thing because I think we need to just continue to play this to remind people. Can you play it for me, please?
The fact that I was able to terminate Roe v. Wade after 50 years of trying, they worked for 50 years. I've never seen anything like it. They worked, and I was so honored to have done it.
Yeah, you're not protecting me.
Right.
I don't know what you talk about. She really rattled you, didn't she?
Yeah.
his most loyal defenders noticed something new in his tone: panic, because, for once, this wasn't about what he said, it was about what others finally decided to reveal. The morning after the broadcast, major newspapers across the country ran with the headline. Some simply read, "Trump exposed," others went deeper. Cracks in the armor. Pete Hegseth turns on Trump. Or secrets no more. Whoopi drops bombshells on live TV. The New York Times, CNN, Fox News, and even international outlets like BBC and Al Jazeera gave front-page coverage to the whirlwind revelations. It wasn't just a cultural moment. It was a political earthquake. White House correspondents quickly reported.
This was the largest military parade in the United States since the end of the Gulf War. You know, originally it wasn't supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be small. A few months ago, Pete Hegseth came to Trump with plans for this parade that only included 3 tanks. And you know, this is Trump's birthday, so he was furious. Reports say he screamed at him. He said, 3 tanks. He said, I pull you off Fox News. I make you Secretary of Defense. I stand behind you when you're accused of sexual assault and being a drunk and texting the war plans to a reporter. I do all that for you. And this is the tanks I get?
Whispers of internal panic within Trump's post-presidency circle. Aides close to Trump, especially those who had remained loyal through multiple scandals, were now allegedly holding closed-door meetings, assessing how much of what was revealed could actually be corroborated by federal records. Sources inside Mogollon PACs hinted that major donor...
Who ordered the pause last week?
I don't know. What did you tell me? I would know. If a decision was made, I will know. I'll be the first to know. In fact, most likely I'd give the order, but I haven't done that yet.
But, okay, wait. Wait a minute. You said you didn't know.
Right. No, he said I would know.
Yeah, but before
he did.
you was like he didn't. Am I correct? Yeah, he just asked somebody else and she knew who it was. Come on, man. Now wait. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth was sitting right next to him. So who is going to take the fall for? Who is in charge? What is going on?
You know, it's very scary.
Were suddenly reevaluating their support. The narrative of strength and control that Trump had carefully maintained for years was now visibly cracking. Meanwhile, both Whoopi Goldberg and Pete Hegseth were flooded with media requests and security concerns. Goldberg's reps confirmed that security around her had been tightened due to increased online threats and suspicions.
Start off with this clip of Pete Hegseth being asked when congressional leaders were notified.
Were they given any advance warning the attacks were coming? And also, Mr. Secretary, when were congressional leaders notified?
They were notified after the planes were safely out. Well, we complied with the notification requirements of the War Powers Act.
After the attacks, they were notified.
They were immediately thereafter.
Notifying Congress after the bombs were dropped is not complying with the War Powers Act, especially when you are only notifying specific Congress members. This reads, top Democrats left in dark on Iran strikes.
Vicious activity. Hegseth, once branded a conservative loyalist, now found himself in a strange new spotlight, both praised as a whistleblower and condemned as a backstabber by the MAGA base. During a follow-up interview, Pete clarified that his decision wasn't politically motivated. I still believe in America first, he said, but I've come to realize that Trump's version of that slogan was always about Trump first. He reiterated that he didn't plan to switch parties, but rather return to conservatism rooted in integrity. Online, the reaction was fiery. On X, formerly Twitter, users dissected every segment of the expose, analyzing the documents shown, comparing them to...
Hegseth continues to fumble. He continues to be out of touch, and he's, of course, trying to chase Donald Trump and his changes on policy, which happen by the minute. But I think he's losing Trump's trust as well. Trump is clearly frustrated with him, and at the end of the day, Trump's a grumpy old man, and he's losing his patience with Hegseth and with a lot of the people around him. So he could wake up tonight and just decide on X he's going to change secretaries of defense. And I think what's really important to understand is the disruption, the chaos, and the lack of stability at the Pentagon hasn't stopped.
In that trap that Hegseth got caught in.
The signal gate.
Yeah, he tells his brother and his spouse everything, but not the president.
No.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Gotta keep it in the family.
Well, that's the problem. Trump is not related to him.
When past interviews, and even starting threads compiling inconsistencies from Trump's previous statements. Independent journalists and watchdog groups began submitting FOIA Freedom of Information Act requests, seeking access to redacted materials referenced in the show. Hashtags like hashtag Trump Files, hashtag HegsethFlip, and hashtag Whoopi Truth trended globally. TikTok. Creators made dramatic reenactments of the show. YouTube analysts uploaded frame-by-frame breakdowns.
You know what's bothering me more than anything about all of this? That while they're fooling around. People are dying.
Yes. A lot of people.
People are dying.
Yeah.
You know, just all of this, not just what's happening in Ukraine, but what's happening around the world that we have been part of. Aid disappearing, children dying, AIDS folks dying. I mean, while they fiddle, you know, while they're fiddling, people are dying. And I just really want to know who's leading the charge? What does America stand for anymore? I'm not sure anymore.
Reddit threads exploded with conspiracy theories, some suggesting even more damning truths were being withheld for now. But beyond the internet frenzy, the expose had real consequences. By late afternoon, congressional representatives on both sides of the aisle began making statements. Some Democrats called for further investigation into Trump's business ties and alleged surveillance operations. More surprisingly, a few moderate Republicans joined the chorus, not necessarily to condemn Trump outright, but to express concern and demand clarification. We need answers. One GOP senator said, "If what was aired is true, then we owe it to the public to investigate fully." In response, Trump launched an aggressive PR campaign. Through spokespersons and his social media platforms, he denied every allegation. These are lies, manufactured nonsense from washed-up media hacks and bitter ex-friends. One Truth Social post read, but the anger behind the denials didn't help calm the waters. Instead, it intensified the scrutiny. Trump's legal team moved swiftly, threatening lawsuits against the network and demanding retractions. But legal analysts were quick to point out that the documents and witness accounts, especially the redacted financial reports, were already under review by independent sources. It's not defamation.